A 15-year-old NEET aspirant from Uttar Pradesh was found hanging from the ceiling fan in his hostel room in Kota on Thursday in the second suspected death by suicide case in 4 days in the coaching hub. A 19-year-old student who was preparing for the NEET exams died by suicide in Salem on Monday. Telangana has also been rocked by a spate of death by suicides after the intermediate exam results were declared 2 days ago. 8 students, including 4 girls, died by death by suicide in a state, while 2 other girls also attempted it. As exam results start pouring in, so does tragic and depressing news of children unable to cope with the pressure, succumbing to the situation at a tender young age. What's going wrong? Are we pressurizing children? Are we unable to help them cope with hurdles and failures? Or is this just fear of having no future in the country if you don't perform well academically? Let's get down to the discussion on this very critical and crucial subject. Let me introduce my guests here on the show tonight. Saurabh Kumar, Chief Academic Officer, Vidya Mandir Classes; Sandeep Gupta, former member of the Parents Teachers Association of DPS Mathura Road for the last 16 years; Rajendra Prasad, motivational counselor, life coach, author and journalist, will shortly be joining us. Anand Kumar, founder, Super 30, will also be joining us shortly. Ravula Sridhar Reddy, senior leader of the TRS, is with us, and Dr. Praveen Chintapanti, consultant psychiatrist of Apollo Hospitals, with us here. Let me first go across to the member from TRS, that is Ravula Sridhar Reddy. Sir, why I want to come first to you is because the numbers are staggering. We have seen 8 cases of death by suicide, largely in Hyderabad. What can the state do, sir, in a situation of this nature? I know that there are steps taken to create awareness that there is life beyond exams, but clearly we are all failing at that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that they have taken their lives, and we're all pained by it. The 8 young minds, young children, they have taken their lives, out of fear or out of failure, fear of failure, whatever it is. It's unfortunate. Yes, the system, end of the day, you can't make one person or one system responsible in such kind of situations wherein the children taking their lives out of fear. They will not perform better, they will not get good marks, they may not get, they will not do well in a competitive examination, or so on and so forth. So this is a very sad situation at this point in time. Definitely, as you say, that as governments, as educational institutions, as counselors, as parents, and as all those who are involved in the system has to be taking the responsibility and definitely try to do something which is needed to prevent such unfortunate things to happen in the colleges. At least because even then the governments often try, the ministers speak, the educational, the scholars, the principals, at every level they speak, they try to give them the confidence that this is not the end of the road, you can perform better, you can write the improvement examinations. And many things are there, actually we appeal that. But even then, despite all these things, certain things are getting repeated. One unfortunate incident is that one student in Hyderabad ended his life fearing that he will not get good marks, or he cannot clear a competitive examination, MSET, but he has scored 892 marks in the intermediate. So which is, it pains us a lot. Definitely, as a government, we try a lot. The Department of Education also tries to counsel people at every level, tries to give them that kind of input to the principals and the heads of the institutions to give them that kind of confidence. But still, these things are repeating. We all have to work together and at every level to prevent that.
Absolutely, everybody in the society needs to work together. I mean, these are young citizens of the country, 15 years, 16 years, 17-year-olds who are unable to cope with this situation. Sandeep Gupta, I want to come to you on this count, because there is something critically wrong in the manner in which we are bringing up our children, because education is meant to prepare you for life, not just for exam and results. So how are they prepared for life if they, end up crumbling at the first hurdle that they face? So is it a problem with the manner in which the upbringing is happening at this juncture?
Let me first, we must all accept the fact that the life has become very competitive. The passing percentages, the exams, the percentage for the competitive exams have really gone up. So that has put a lot of pressure on these children. Now the society, the parents and the education system need to join hands for the holistic well-being of the children. The solution lies with students, teachers and parents, all three playing an active role in ensuring the mental well-being. First of all, the parents have to get into that mode of accepting the fact that there is something wrong in the upbringing or in the mental health of the child. First of all, the parents, they are into that denial mode that there is no such problem with the children. So they need to accept it, because this is something reality and there's a life beyond the boundary walls of the school. So those children have to take on the world outside the protected atmosphere of the schools, for which the schools, the parents and the teachers, all of them together have to take initiative.
Absolutely. On that count, let me go across to Rajendra Prasad. He is a motivational counselor. Sir, what are the kind of cases you have seen? Is it as easy as, the previous speaker was making it sound that parents are failing in their role or teachers are failing in their role in preparing the students for life? Or is it a very tricky situation in the entire system which is only looking at scores as a benchmark for success in life?
The mindset of everyone in the society has to be changed, because the examination is a test for both students and teachers. If a student gets failed, he is only being blamed. But the educational institutions and teachers are not taking the accountability for the private educational institutions. They take credit for the good marks of a few students, but there is no accountability for the failure. That is one of the reasons. And what I have observed is, during my motivational sessions, I observed that lack of self-confidence is the main reason for student deaths. One more thing, most of the students who died of suicide have studied in private colleges. The students who have studied in government colleges, they did not commit suicide. They did not commit suicide in the past 3 days. Almost all the students were studied in private colleges.
All right, that's
okay. Lot of stress.
All right, that's an observation, interesting one that you're putting out. So let me go across to Praveen Chintapanti, a consultant psychiatrist. Sir, is it true that as the motivational speaker here is saying that the cases that he's seen are private colleges or private institutions putting more pressure, and perhaps government institutions where there are many more students to compete with? Probably, I'm just, it may not be true for every government institution, but people coming in from various backgrounds as well, a student is able to cope better with the situation.
My deepest condolences to the families at the outset for the loss of their loved ones at a very young age. To respond to your question, I think it is a very generic statement to say that the private colleges apply more pressure on the students than the government institutions. I think the pressure is equally spread across. And children who actually migrate from a private sector institution into a competitive world, or a government sector into a competitive world, they are very different quantities, as we understand. And these kids actually who come from public sector institutions and government schools, who go into a private world, they struggle more, perhaps because of the language, because of the social milieu they move into. I think that's a very different ballgame. And it's a very, a very plain solution for a complex problem. Suicides of children are very complex issues. And it's very tempting, as the other speaker said, it's a problem of the school, teachers, and the parents. I think it's a systemic issue. It's about community we live in. It's about the society we live in, the pressure we apply. and the whole aspiration of parents to want to live their dreams through the children. I never could become a doctor, or I never could become an IIT person, so I'll push my kids into. And there's this beautiful aspiration, like, once you get into an institution, or once you get X number of marks, your life is set forever. I think that's a myth, and we perpetuate this sort of narratives, and then the story which goes around. And we, as Indians, we are supposed to say Vidya is the one which liberates. Vidyayasa vimuchyate. And we actually are the ones, Vidya is one which kills. That's a very pathological thought. I think the Macaulay-based education, which wants clerks to be created for the British sovereign, I think we are inheriting the narrative in continuum. Schools have moved in Britain, schools have moved in Europe, schools have moved in Finland, but we still insist on that marking-based system. We all know that intermediate or 10 plus 12 marks, they really don't matter. I don't remember how much I scored when I did my intermediate. I think it's rubbish. But we never tell our kids that this is a rubbish thing. It really doesn't matter better. We tell these stories. I'm a parent too. My child is in 12th. And, I am in a bind. This narrative, the complexity we live in, we never tell our kids, it's okay, beta, if you don't get this great marks. It's still fine. Just secure, do your best. It really won't matter otherwise. And as society, I think as a society, we have truly failed this eight children, and also the kids who kill themselves after every
result. But Dr.
result.
Praveen, I think many parents would perhaps be fearful that they might push their children into complacency and not allow them growth and competitiveness if they don't encourage them. Perhaps they're doing it from the viewpoint of encouragement, which crosses over, or they cross the line sometimes. And that could be true of anyone, not just parents. It could be true for teachers, for counselors, whoever. I want to go across to Mr. Anand as well, who's here with us and running Super 30. Anand ji, आप डील करते हैं उन बच्चों के साथ जो बहुत ही कंपेटिटिव होते हैं एक तरह से, क्योंकि वो कंपेटिटिव एग्जाम्स में टॉप करते हैं, बिल्कुल निकल जाते हैं टॉप लेवल पर. क्या वो बच्चे और बच्चों से फर्क होते हैं और कैसे फर्क होते हैं? क्या उनका मेंटली भी वो स्ट्रांग होते हैं?
मैं तो ये बताना चाहूंगा कि हम लोग जिन बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं उन पर कोई मेंटल प्रेशर नहीं होता है. वो बच्चे अंडर प्रिविलेज सेक्शन के होते हैं, उनके पास होने के कुछ नहीं रहता है. हमारे पास आते हैं, काफी मेहनत करते हैं और बार बार हम लोग उनको मोटिवेट करते हैं कि कोई बात नहीं बच्चे, अगर आपका IIT नहीं होगा तो NIT होगा, NIT भी नहीं होगा तो कुछ अच्छा होगा, क्योंकि कोई ऐसा इम्तिहान नहीं है जिसमें इतनी ताकत हो कि आपकी प्रतिभा की गवाही दे सके. इसलिए अगर मार्क्स कम आता है, ज्यादा आता है, तो कोई चिंता करने की बात नहीं है, आप अच्छा इंसान बने. तो इस तरह से मोटिवेट करने से उन बच्चों पर कोई प्रेशर नहीं रहता है. लेकिन कोटा में और कई जगहों पर प्रेशर रहता है. माता पिता जमीन बेचकर अपनी आखिरी संपत्ति को भी दांव पर लगाकर बच्चे को भेजते हैं. वहां पर जो एडमिशन लेते हैं कोचिंग वाला, ज्यादातर बगैर टेस्ट के ले लेते हैं. बस उन्हें मनी चाहिए, पैसा चाहिए. तो ऐसी स्थिति में बच्चा तो चला जाता है बड़े बड़े ख्वाबों को लेकर, लेकिन धीरे धीरे वो प्रेशर महसूस करता है, दबाव महसूस करता है और उसको लगता है कि अब अपने माता पिता की उम्मीदों पर खरे नहीं उतरे तो क्या जवाब देंगे, समाज को मैं अपना चेहरा कैसे दिखाऊंगा, और यही परिणाम होता है कि बच्चा सुसाइड कर लेता है. इसलिए मेरा मानना है कि बच्चों पर अननेसेसरी माता पिता को भी, पेरेंट्स को भी प्रेशर नहीं बनाना चाहिए. उनकी क्षमता और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि उनका इंटरेस्ट देखकर बच्चों को जो दिशा में पढ़ना चाहे उनको मोटिवेट कर.
इसीलिए आनंद जी, मैंने सबसे पहले यही बोला कि एक तरह से अगर हो सकता है ये फिलोसॉफिकल लगे, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी चुनौती और एग्जाम तो जीवन खुद होता है, लाइफ होता है, और एजुकेशन को लाइफ के लिए प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए बच्चों को, rather than competitive exams. So, Saurav Kumar, I want to come to you on that count. How much is, our school system, education system, preparing children for life and making them mentally strong?
Yeah. So see, the today's system of education in school is only making them to clear their board exams or scholastic exams which are happening in school. Few schools has got that you can say the wisdom that they are also looking at the mental well-being of the students. So currently, obviously, as many people in the panel discussed about the awareness amongst the parents and the students about the things which are going to happen in future, they has to be counseled at every stage, at school, at home, at even if they are going to an institution, there as well.
Right.
So one thing which one thing which everybody has to realize that the number of seats are very limited and the number of aspirations has been increased to so extent that selection is only 2 to 3% of the candidates.
That's a very important point that you've made, and I brought this up during the introduction as well. And Mr. Ravula Reddy, I want to come to you on that count. Is there a fear both amongst parents and what the children imbibe from what they see around in the society that in India, in this country, you will have no future if you do not clear a competitive exam? That the struggles beyond that, if you do a plain graduation, say, are going to be huge. And there have governments failed? See,
actually, this is actually a matter of debate. You have a less number of seats, yes, when lakhs of students are coming out of graduation. When you wanted to go to post-graduation or pursue some other professional courses, definitely you will have limited seats and they have to compete for it. This is the fact of the life. Definitely it's happening so. But there is a opportunity to take an alternative also. And there are many other options before them. That is where exactly the parents, rather their academic counselor has to come in. If somebody is not qualifying to one examination, doesn't mean it's not the end of the road. Suppose if you are not qualified in MCET this year, if you have the patience, rather, if you want to give a try next year, rather, if you wanted to take a different route, you have not qualified to a medicine or you are not qualified to an engineering course, you can go to a grad course or something. So this is where the parents or the faculty members has to come in and counsel them. And I don't say, rather at this point in time, at least now, taking my state into concern, Telangana, you have abundant opportunities before them. There are many options before them to pursue their career in different spectrums, and there are many courses rather before them. And as you said, they have to be prepared for the life, not for the next exam or so. That should be the way the examinations, rather the academic courses or academic counselors, the faculty and parents have to prepare them in such a way. Yes, the opportunities are at times limited, but I will not say it is not the end of the road. Rather, it is not that narrow a road. Definitely there is a way for everything. And moreover, we have to prepare them to face any kind of difficulties or most of the times it's the fear of failure or a disappointment or kind of a feeling of insulted before the peer group or so. It's actually causing them to happen. So we have to educate these children, counsel these children that absolutely, because most of them doesn't even know what exactly it could be after achievement of low marks or whatever it is. So the fact, as all my fellow panelists are saying,
basically, sir, what you're saying is that yes, they should be made aware of the other avenues that they can choose.
Absolutely.
Sandeep Gupta, I want to bring you in over here. Many years ago, say about 2 to 3 decades ago, one would have imagined that there are no avenues and you have to clear IIT or AIMS. At least that used to be the benchmark of a good student. Now that there are so many avenues available, why is it that there is still pressure on the students? Is there lack of awareness? What happens at the school level?
Let me start up with the saying, everyone performs under pressure. So the pressure has to be regulated so that children can handle that kind of a pressure which is required. Because if they don't have that, the parents, the students, the teachers, they don't put a little pressure, they don't even perform. The solution to this problem lies with teachers certainly need to be trained in identifying these symptoms and patterns of mental issues in these children. these education institutions must have these counseling sessions more often in the schools. In fact, CBSE has already taken the initiative. They had told all these CBSE schools to appoint more counselors in the school. The education is a state subject. Many state governments took the initiative, like the Delhi government took the initiative of introducing the happiness curriculum in the schools, which was basically the stress reliever for the students as well as for the parents. My children went to the same school, the DPS Mathura Road, where I studied about 35 years ago. So I have seen the classroom teaching, what happened 35 years ago and what happens today. So I'm also the moderator of my class of 86. We were about 400 batchmates, and out of 400 batchmates, the toppers were very limited toppers who did excellent in life. But it was actually the backbenchers and the mediocres who left the mark in the society, because they were trained to be, they could take the world head on also, because they had seen good marks as well as the bad marks in the classroom. So they could take that pressure outside the protected atmosphere of the schools, which probably these students, when they are confined to those...
But why are those lessons not being passed on to the students? That is the big question here. आनंद जी, एक आखिरी सवाल आपसे पूछूंगी, जल्दी जवाब दीजिएगा, टाइम खत्म हो रहा है, कि जो आप ट्रेन करते हैं, आप कह रहे थे ऐसे बच्चों को जो अंडर प्रिविलेज बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं, उनको बिल्कुल कम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स के लिए प्रिपेयर करते हैं. आप कह रहे थे दे हैव नथिंग टू लूज, उनके पास सिर्फ आगे बढ़ने का जरिया है, लेकिन उनके में एक तरह से कभी कभी डेस्परेशन भी होती है कि हमें परफॉर्म करना है. जो इन्होंने बात बोली कि प्रेशर में इंसान परफॉर्म करता है, वो प्रेशर रेगुलेटेड होना चाहिए, क्या आप इससे अग्री करते हैं?
हमारा कहना है कि जो दिल से बातें होती है, जो मन में बातें आती है, जो शौक से जुनून पैदा होता है, उसका कोई जवाब नहीं. हाँ, प्रेशर में आदमी थोड़ा ज्यादा मेहनत करता है, लेकिन प्रेशर के अंडर आ जाना अच्छी बात नहीं है. तो मेरा मानना है, अभी एक बच्चा था मेरा, उसका सुपर 30 का, उसका भाई जो था, वो कांस्टेबल का जो दौड़ने वाला था 24 मिनट में पूरा करना था, लेकिन वो हमेशा प्रैक्टिस पे 23 मिनट 22 मिनट करता था, लेकिन प्रेशर में जब फाइनल हुआ तो 21 मिनट में कर दिया. ऐसा प्रेशर जो सुखद है, जो अच्छा है, लेकिन अननेसेसरी तनाव में आना, टेंशन में आना, प्रेशर में आना कि मुझे करना है, नहीं करने पर क्या होगा, मैं समाज को क्या बोलूंगा, बड़ा गलत है. तो मेरा मानना है कि भाई पेरेंट्स को कहना है, कोचिंग सेंटर्स को कहना है कि बच्चों को खिलने और खुलने दे, प्लीज उन पर किसी तरह का कोई दबाव, तनाव और प्रेशर ना करें.
Absolutely. There is life beyond exams, and all of us have gone through these stages, and I think parents need to guide teachers, and the entire society needs to guide the children that there certainly is life beyond just their grades. Many thanks all of you for joining us here on this discussion.